Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to another isolation special of Toon Jam. I don't know why I had trouble saying that word then, but yes, live from, well, not live, but pre-recorded from Skype. I'm Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are continuing our kind of a two-part special, unintentionally, with Thundercats Roar, the highly what's the opposite of anticipated? Dreaded.
Yeah.
Reboot of the Thundercats series. Before we start, I'll give you a little bit of background info. Thundercats Roar is an American animated television series produced by Warner Brothers Animation for Cartoon Network. The series premiered on February the 22nd, 2020. Thundercats Roar features an explicitly cartoonish art style with a more light-hearted comedic tone than previous Thundercats installments. The show's premise is similar to the original. The Thundercats escape their dying homeworld, Thundera, only to crash land on Third Earth, facing off against various villains and their evil overlord Mumra. So there's been 14 episodes so far. Yeah, you might have already heard from this. I think we've sort of shared a few bits and bobs from it, but yeah, it's not received much of a welcome fan base in terms of the older fans of Thundercats are not very happy with this. Much like Teen Titans Go, but with Teen Titans Go, we ended up quite liking that, so it will be interesting to go over this. It was originally scheduled to premiere in 2019, but was delayed to 2020. The show's developers are Victor Courtwright and Marley Halpern Grazier. Sorry if they're mispronounced. Courtwright previously worked on Disney XD series Pickle and Peanut as a writer and storyboard artist, and also created the Cartoon Network digital series Get 'em Tommy, whereas Halpern Grazier previously worked as a writer on various DC Nation shorts and was a co-creator of Disney XD's Right Now Kapow. Now, of those, I have only seen some of the DC Nation shorts.
I've seen nothing.
Have you heard of any of them? Pickle and Peanut?
No, I don't think I have.
Right Now Kapow?
No.
And what was the other one? Oh yeah, Get 'em Tommy.
Nope.
No.
No.
Well, there you go. So I will say the first 2 episodes were released on the Cartoon Network app in the UK. Cartoon Network UK. Yesterday, as
Really?
we are recording this, yeah. So we watched them as they aired.
There you go.
And this will be released tomorrow, so just to throw another day in there for fun.
Can you figure out when we recorded?
Yeah, so let's obviously we've got no memories. Let's get straight into it.
Yeah.
The intro.
Yeah.
It's not as originally advertised. They did change it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't very popular, obviously.
No.
I mean, it's hard to compete with that original.
Yeah. They were never gonna. I mean, it was one of those where it was like they were never gonna best that winner of all those guitar solos all going on, and
exactly.
Just all the poses, and it's a pretty solid intro. That Thundercats intro, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cinematic. But yeah, so they kind of they're telling the story, aren't they, of the origin and stuff, and just doing it in a very short and funny way.
Yeah, so it's two episodes. The the intro. So it runs at about 20 minutes or so. And it covers the leaving of Thundera and landing on Third Earth pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, I mean it's weird because obviously you get into it and it's immediately, if you've got preconceptions of Thundercats, it's quite jarring.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Just because of the art style.
Mm.
And obviously the humour.
Yeah, like the characters are very cartoonish as well, aren't they? Really, like their attitudes and the way that they are. It's almost like they found a way to, you know, put Thundercats on a chart somewhere and found the polar opposite of it and went, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Like
it's interesting, but I mean, there's a lot of the same things in there.
Yeah, they've kept quite. I'm surprised how much they sort of kept with it. So like the characters are obviously all pretty much the same. They all look obviously very different, but like as far as what they're all about, it's all pairs up, doesn't it?
And you can still you can tell who's who.
Yeah.
It's not like worlds apart. Well, it is, but it's not like unrecognisably.
That's it. And then they've still got lots of like the Thundercats story in there as well. Like, so you start off with like Jaga narrating and being like, I died or whatever. So that's all. Yeah. That kind of continues a lot. And then you've got the Berbils, which are like sort of favourite characters from the old series and stuff. So they put a lot of recognisable stuff.
I had to look them up just to check, because I was like, I just wanted to see what was wrong, because obviously I don't have much knowledge of the original stuff. But yeah, they've been in every series. Yeah. So it's quite funny comparing them. They were quite amusing as well, to be honest.
Yeah, they were alright actually. Yeah, I think it was.
I think there's definitely, I can see where the initial sting comes from. And Lion-O is probably the bulk of it.
Yeah.
I imagine, because he is just a ridiculous character.
Yeah, it's like almost. I find him quite irritating, to be honest, more than anything.
Yeah, and I mean, I did, and it's not just obviously for us going in. I don't care about Thundercats.
Yeah. So
it's easy for me to be like, look at it fresh. Whatever. I mean, it's not made for me because I'm not the current young generation.
Yeah.
But I feel like a certain amount of it is made for, I'd say maybe teenagers. Yeah. Even though it's probably aimed at kids, there'll be a lot of teenagers that, because it's got that like crappy adolescent humour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where they just shorten words like explodes.
Yeah.
And then just the shortening of a word is a joke.
Yeah, that's it. That's funny now. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I felt like there's a bit of box ticking at the start. So like Cheetara, they had to go out of their way to make sure that you knew she was the coolest character. By literally saying it. Yeah,
several times.
Yeah. Whereas, you didn't need to do that.
No.
Because that was the only problem like I had with it, really. Was just her going on. Because as soon as someone says they're cool, you're like, well, you're not.
Yeah.
Because you've said you are.
That's it. Yeah, Panthro was like the opposite, wasn't it? Like he just did something cool, and then the kids kind of reacted to it.
Yeah. That's it. So I think like I quite liked Panthro, and I liked Tigra as well.
Yeah.
Because Tigra, obviously, after watching it the other week, was pretty ridiculous anyway.
We basically know Tigra is just an oddball.
Yeah. With his flipping chewing on air.
That's it.
So yeah, that was, I thought, all right. Mumra.
Yeah, he was like, he was all right. Like he wasn't as irritating as Lion. I think I guess it was weird because the way that they set it up was that like essentially he was like all powerful, and then they kind of, by the end of the episode, they kind of toned him down back to his normal
Yeah.
Mumra. So I was kind of expecting it the other way around, because that's just the usual format, I suppose, is like he's in mummy mode, then he powers up. It's like a Power Rangers episode. Like,
Yeah.
whereas like with this, it was like he was big stonking Mumra from the start. So I was like, oh, okay, like, and he was, yeah, he was kind of, it sort of made sense what they did with him, that he was just kind of arrogant because he's been running the show, by the looks of it, with no interruptions for a while. So his character kind of made sense, but it was weird seeing him, because Mumra used to scare me when I was younger. So now it's like, with not just the art style but just his sort of blasé attitude, he's a lot less frightening than the original counterpart.
Definitely. I mean, there was no real
there's no terror involved, is there? It's just like, oh, it's just this guy that looks weird.
But I felt the jokes were hit and miss.
Yeah.
So I did laugh at a few points, but then it quickly often took me out of the laughing.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, oh, it's taking it away from me. But I think that's just more the humour of it, again, with the, what constitutes for gags nowadays.
Yeah.
And I think with Lion-O, I wonder, is the problem in his character, or is it in is it the voice actor?
I don't know. I think it's both. I think it's both of them are just not great choices. I don't think. He's sort of too on the ball. It's like the opposite of what Lion-O is like. It seems like most of the time. Because sometimes he is apprehensive, but then other times he is like, he does charge in like a madman. But they've just kind of turned everything up to a point where it's just absurd on all degrees, without being like entertaining.
He's just so like it would be okay if he was stupid. Yeah. But he's like childishly stupid.
Yeah, he's so gung ho. It just becomes, you don't want to watch him, do you? You kind of want him to fail.
And I think I mean, the mutants, they were all right.
Yeah, they were pretty funny because they were fairly reserved. Yeah.
The action in it was quite fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that's something it does have. Is like, it's very, that I think the art style obviously complements this, but like it's very fast paced once the action gets in. It looks really dynamic, and it's really like there's a lot going on, sort of thing. Like it moves real quick. So that's something good about it. Like it's
and I think the animation, even though it is hard to like the art style. And it's just more their faces and stuff. It's almost too, dull.
The dumb sort of bulbous looking faces.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't mind when to compare it to Teen Titans.
Yeah.
They sometimes look that dumb, but not always.
Yeah.
And whereas in this, they always look that dumb.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's just kind of, it does, I can see the similarities to this and Teen Titans, but it does seem like they've like amped it up even more.
Oh yeah.
And to a point that maybe is a bit too far.
Yeah.
But saying that, I weirdly, it was a weird thing where it was like, maybe I could watch some more. It was almost like a guilty pleasure, I think.
Yeah. Like, you was just like, oh, but what did they do next with it? Like,
it just, and it did make me intrigued almost to like, I was like kind of hoping they'd remake the episode we watched the other day, just so I could see that.
See what you kind of want to see a side by side almost of just like how what have they done to it, like exactly.
It was pretty it was interesting. It was definitely it wasn't as as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, yeah,
I will say that. Quite early on, but then like again, I had no real preconceptions.
yeah. I can definitely see why it got the flack that it did, because
Yes.
I can't really think of anything else that sort of basically got the brand and the identity of something, an IP, and then literally turned it on its head to the point where it's like offensive to the people that enjoyed it in the first place.
It is. The closest thing is Teen Titans, isn't
it? Yeah, I guess. But that doesn't even seem like it's that far apart, because with Teen Titans, like you say, at least there was times when they were like overly animated and they sort of, their faces went all like anime style, and it was. Those elements were kind of in there, weren't they?
I've never really got the hate for Teen Titans Go.
No, neither have I.
And to a degree, you know, I understand when people see it, they're like, ugh, but at the end of the day, you know, the last version didn't do very well. That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The version before that is like 40 years ago, like 35 years ago. Yeah, it's a different time in it, and you know, it doesn't take away them. And I doubt anyone can realistically say that they're going to sit down and watch more than 2 episodes of the old one without being like, well, I can't do any more without my brain melting.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's dated.
Yeah, I think, like I say, with that, at least, I mean, like the design isn't as drastic, I don't think. They've still got those kind of hard edges to the look of them. They just kind of look like they're tweaked a bit, whereas this is like, if like you couldn't really tell it was, you know, if you change the colors, for example, you might not know it was those characters.
Yeah,
they're so opposite to the original style.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, there's some sort of part of that 80s roughness that people loved so much, where everything was like a bit like butch and manly and like macho, hence all the abs and the flipping muscles and stuff. And like with this, it's like the complete opposite look of that. Everything's rounded and soft and marshmallow like. So it's like, it's really strange that they went that hard in the opposite direction, because essentially, I guess, the kind of alienating your fan base, aren't you? Whereas like,
well, you are, but at the same time, like, you've got that 2011 one, and
yeah, I guess, yeah,
no one watched it, so it's like you had your chance, you all had your chance, and you didn't take it, so we're doing something else.
It's almost like their revenge on the fans that didn't tune in.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you didn't like the dark one, so how'd you like these apples?
I mean, it's fair though, isn't it? Like, if that's not going to work.
Yeah, well, yeah, try and do the thing that, you know, you weren't doing before. Makes sense, I guess, from a business standpoint
as well. That's the thing. Yeah. Like, kids will like it.
Yeah, tap into the kids.
Yeah. And I mean, you've got to look. I mean, look at like Ninja Turtles, and how many versions of that there are.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's always going to be another version, and like, you may not like it, but if they keep making new versions, there might be another version later on that you like more because the times change again.
Yeah,
it's how things survive, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like with Turtles though, like, even though there's like a bunch of iterations and they all, like, some of them go very different to the others, they never feel like they took a leap as much as this did from the original. Have you seen the
new one?
I haven't seen the new one, actually.
No, there you go.
Is that the one? Is that the Thundercats Raw?
Yeah. It is not far from it. So, yeah, everything's got it. And I mean, you look at, like, that's how things survive. Like, take like Batman. Yeah. I mean, look at Batman 66 and then look at, you know, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
There's going to be different versions. There's always
yeah. I mean, they have to evolve at some point, don't they, really?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense for them. Like, if it was still the 80s one, if they just tried to do exactly that wouldn't work now either. So,
no.
Like,
well, exactly.
They've got to change something. Like, it only makes sense. I think they were just pretty, I guess, brave to take the choice that they did.
Well, definitely. Yeah. Right, well, on that note, shall we jump over to our ratings? Are you tired of your childhood being ruined? Well, time for it to get better with the brand new adult Cartoon Network featuring shows that you loved as a child return in a new, darker format, such as Scooby-Doo, Who Killed You?
Dead, and Deady.
Courage the Cowardly Dog has rabies.
Thornberries, Gone Wild, Triple X.
Genuinely in Danger, Mouse.
And Rugrats, Crib Death.
Get ready for your childhood to return. Here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system. You may already know it, you may not. It goes thumbs up. Not remaking old things for most people. Thumbs down, Lion-O. And shaky middle. This decision, not just to make the series, but for us to cover it. So good, bad, or sort of in the middle, not really sure. So Thundercats Raw. What are your thoughts?
Yes, well, I mean, I suppose I do fall prey to having some sort of previous memory of Thundercats.
You need to remember like our mission statement.
Yeah,
heavily on this one.
I know, this is it. This is the one that's going to test me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, actually watching the show, it was obviously very different. And I mean, I did like that they kept lots of elements to it. Like obviously the characters are all pretty much the same. The music, they used like pretty much all the original themes like continually throughout the show. Almost too much, if anything. They just keep coming back. But I like that they kept them because
and I think, to be honest, you'll probably find that watching the old stuff as well.
That
it was too much.
I think it's just that they flick between themes, like because the show's so much faster paced. It goes from like the sad theme to the action theme, and then so it's like because they use them on every theme. It's like, whoa, it's a bit of an overload of them. So I like the addition of the music. Whereas on the downside, I guess I wasn't a really big fan of the animation, or the general look. The animation was cool. It was fast paced and stuff. And it looked good in the action scenes. But the humor as well wasn't really to my taste, but I know it wasn't really appealing to me either. I suppose it's just a very different type of show, as far as you sort of have to kind of look at it as it's not the old show, essentially. It's something different. But whether I'd sit and watch this as is anyway, I don't think I actually would. I think it's sort of I couldn't help but feel like it sort of tried to have a lot of elements of similar shows. Like it really tried for that sort of Adventure Time feel, sort of like regular show kind of appeal, but it didn't really land there. So it sort of felt like more of an imitation really than anything else. It didn't really have something genuine that was of its own. So for me, I think it's still going to be a thumbs down for this one.
Some heavy critique. Obviously I have no preconceptions of what to like and what not to like in the way of Thundercats. There's definitely things in it that I didn't enjoy. There's some of the humor was a bit grating, and the art style was. Its thing is, sometimes it looked all right. Sometimes it's just too stupid. That being said, I think it'd be something, once you sort of got over it. I think, and once I think a big part would be once they got over themselves.
I think that's
I think they're really. It feels almost too try hard, and once it feels like something where if you were to watch it, you'd be like, oh, a couple of seasons in, it starts getting really good.
Yeah, it could do. Yeah, I could see that happening. But yeah.
And I do think the animation, even though the art style isn't enjoyable, the animation was really good. And it still does weirdly feel like Thundercats. I think especially, obviously everyone remembers them. They don't remember it like they watched it yesterday. They remember it as they did when they were a kid.
Yeah, they've got like a glossy view of it in their head, sort of thing.
Yeah, whereas I first watched it a week ago, and I can tell you, it's not good. I mean, it's not terrible, and I can see, for the time, but at the same time, it's just as stupid as this was in my eyes, which is not a bad thing at all for a cartoon, obviously. But we've watched stuff from then that was probably better delivered. Take Ulysses, for example. I was quite surprised at how good that was. Even the animation was quite good, whereas the animation is actually pretty sluggish in the outside of the intro, which is ridiculously good in comparison to the actual show. But obviously, like we said, there's a lot of cool things in the old one, but there's a lot of cool things in this, and I did quite enjoy it. I was surprised. It's not 100%.
No.
But I genuinely would watch more out of curiosity more than anything.
Really? Like you want to see what's going on with it.
Yeah, it was just weirdly addictive. And I'm gonna give it a tentative and low thumbs up.
Oh, well, there you go. I think that's fairly like accurate rating for what it should sort of lie on, really, because it's not. I mean, it's not like a breakthrough cartoon that everyone should go out and watch, but I don't think it's not worthy of all the hatred that it's getting.
No,
it still does some things right. Like, I mean, I wouldn't sit and watch it, but like I've seen way worse cartoons that are doing really well. So it's it's one of those.
What else have we watched from this era? Like Steven Universe, Clarence.
Yeah.
And I just, with them, I just felt like they didn't feel. I don't know. There was nothing for me in them. I never felt like I cared. Well, I don't know if it's just because it's so bright and colourful. This.
Maybe. Yeah.
But it just made me laugh a few times as well.
I guess the other thing with the other shows is that like they're sort of entirely original as well, aren't they? So I think a lot of the good parts of this are already established as well, like because you've got those weird characters and like the sort of main setup is all kind of there already, isn't it? So I think, like you say, once it gets into becoming just itself, I think it could be a lot better. Whereas like at the minute, it's still kind of half coasting, half trying to be like the cool kid at the same time. So it feels a bit awkward, doesn't it? Like
and it might not even take that long because with it being the 2 episodes, they're introducing everything anyway. And I do feel like stuff like they're explaining who all the characters are and going overboard with the sort of like I'm the cool one and all that stuff. But that would be gone after this. You wouldn't really hear that again, I don't think. And all that it'll be all those small problems would level themselves out, I'd hope. So it was interesting. Definitely, I enjoyed doing the comparison sort of the 2.
It was good to see them side by side, I think. So you could sort of take a good sample of each. It was good. But
and I think we should do it more. We should do this. Do this again.
That's it.
But yes, on that note, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please feel free to get in touch, or even better, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is you listen to your podcasts. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do on the 3 terrible reboots of life, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Toon Jam Pod. And you can give us any recommendations or similar sort of things you'd like us to compare, like with multiple versions or whatever, and we'll be happy to do so. Or if there's anything else you'd like us to go over, or if you just want to say hi, please feel free to do so. But until next time, thanks for listening and stay jammy. Roar!
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you and stay jammy.